Glossary of Terms, Scientific and Evolutionary Terms. 1. Abiogenesis, the theory that life arose from non-living matter without any intelligent direction. 2. Evolution, the process by which different species develop and diversify from earlier forms through natural selection. 3. Natural selection, the process where organisms better adapted to their environment tend to survive and reproduce. 4. Mutation, a change in the DNA sequence that may lead to new traits in an organism. 5. Fossil record, the collection of fossils that documents the history of life on Earth. 6. Transitional fossil, a fossil that shows traits of both ancestral and derived species, supposedly demonstrating evolutionary change. 7. Random mutations, changes in DNA that occur without a specific purpose or direction. 8. Macroevolution, large-scale evolutionary changes that result in the formation of new species. 9. Microevolution, small-scale evolutionary changes within a species. 10. Genetic code, the system of nucleotide sequences in DNA that contains the instructions for building and maintaining an organism. 11. Irreducible complexity, the argument that some biological systems are too complex to have evolved incrementally. 12. The bacterial flagellum, a complex cellular structure often used as an example of irreducible complexity. 13. Punctuated equilibrium, a theory suggesting that evolutionary change occurs in rapid bursts, not gradually. 14. Multiverse theory, the speculative idea that multiple universes exist, each with different physical laws. 15. The fine-tuning argument, the argument that the universe's physical constants are precisely set to allow life. 16. Genetic information paradox, the idea that information requires an intelligent source and cannot arise randomly. 17. Survival of the fittest, the concept that organisms with advantageous traits are more likely to survive and reproduce. 18. Spontaneous generation, the outdated idea that life can arise from non-living matter, e.g., maggots from rotting meat. 19. Vestigial structures, body parts that are considered evolutionary leftovers with little or no function. 20. Hominid evolution, the study of human evolution from ape-like ancestors. 21. RNA world hypothesis, the theory that early life used RNA instead of DNA for genetic storage and enzymatic activity. Philosophical and logical terms. 22. Materialism, the belief that only physical matter exists, and everything, including thought and morality, arises from material interactions. 23. Determinism, the idea that all events, including human actions, are determined by preceding causes. 24. The law of identity, a fundamental logical principle stating that something is what it is. A is A. 25. The law of non-contradiction, a principle stating that something cannot be both true and false at the same time in the same way. 26. The law of the excluded middle, a principle stating that something is either true or false with no middle ground. 27. Epistemology, the study of knowledge, including how we know what we know. 28. Self-refuting argument, an argument that contradicts itself, e.g., there is no absolute truth, is an absolute statement. 29. Begging the question, circular reasoning, a logical fallacy where the conclusion is assumed in the premise. 30. Reductionism, the idea that complex systems can be explained entirely by their simpler components. 31. The problem of induction, the philosophical issue of justifying the assumption that future observations will be like past ones. 32. The evolutionary argument against naturalism, Ian. Alvin Plantinga's argument that if human cognition evolved purely for survival, we have no reason to trust our reasoning as true. 33. Cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort of holding conflicting beliefs. 34. Objective versus subjective morality, the debate over whether moral values exist independently or are defined by individuals, society. 35. Social contract theory, The belief that morality is based on agreements within society rather than objective truths. 36. Moral relativism. The belief that morality is subjective and varies by culture or individual belief. 37. Unfalsifiable hypothesis, a claim that cannot be tested or disproven, making it non-scientific. Theological and metaphysical terms. 38. Theism versus atheism. The belief in God versus the belief that no deity exists. 39. Biblical creationism. The belief that God created the universe and life as described in Genesis. 40. The uniformity of nature. The assumption that the laws of nature remain consistent over time. 41. Teleology. The study of purpose and design in nature. 42. Presuppositional apologetics. A method of defending Christianity that argues all reasoning must start with belief in God. 43. Irreducible complexity. The claim that some biological structures are too complex to have evolved incrementally. 44. The anthropic principle. The argument that the universe's physical laws appear fine-tuned for human existence. 45. Transcendental argument for God. TAG. The argument that logic, morality, and science depend on God's existence. Miscellaneous terms. 46. Artificial intelligence, AI, and DNA comparison. The analogy comparing DNA's complexity to human programming. 47. Information theory. The scientific study of how information is transmitted and stored. 48. Algorithmic complexity. The difficulty of randomly generating ordered, meaningful information. 49. Probability and large numbers. The argument that just because something is statistically possible doesn't mean it will happen. 50. Grant money in scientific research. The critique that many scientific theories are shaped by financial incentives.